Good evening, everyone. Today, we are excited to present a final demonstration of our Mooc admin system, a powerful and scalable back-end system for online learning platform. Here's a quick overview of today's presentation. We'll start with a brief project introduction, then walk you through our system design, key features, and technology choices, followed by a live demo and some reflection at the end. I will give you a brief introduction. This system was developed by our agile team under Scrum framework. Our contributor includes developers, business analysts, and team leads. With a dedicated team collaboration, we developed an admin system whose features span across the user authentication, system-wide role-based access management, exam and question bank, and course management. Throughout the project, we follow 2-week sprints using Jira for backlog tracking and task examination. We hold stand-up every 2 days and regular sprint meetings to help us iterate quickly and deliver efficiently. For collaboration and code quality, we adopt Git and GitHub with a feature div and main flow, mandatory code review for each PR, and just testing our backend APIs, and formatting rules with ESLint, Prettier, and Husky. Here's a snapshot of each stack. For the front end, React with the TypeScript for the type safety and MUI. For the back end, Node.js and Express with the Swagger for API documentation in terms of database. MySQL access through the synchronized ORM. Now let's move to the system design part, where I will elaborate how the system works. The system follows a clean separation of concerns. For the front end, we use React with the Redux, Anxious, and Material UI. For the back end, Express API with JWT authentication and role-based access control. And the database, we use MySQL with the synchronized as ORM, where the communication is RESTful. And the database structure, this relational diagram shows the models in our database and how they connect with each other. The database structure and the backend layers. Backend logic is structured into 4 layers. For the router, it maps HTTP messages and endpoints. And the controller, it handles requests, parameters, and response. For the service, it enforces business logic and RBAC. The model defines the data schema. Error handling and input validation are consistently applied through the middleware and global error handlers. The backend API highlights. We implemented the module APIs across 10+ modules. The core principles is readability for easily onboarding, maintainability for long-term scaling, and reliability through the layered validations, and scalability to adapt to more modules. In terms of front-end highlights, we use the component-based structure. We maintain code modularity with shared DTO in tabs, reusable UI in components, and logical abstraction in utils and hooks, global state while they store, and async actions while they thunks. Each part of the system can be independently and maintained or extended. In terms of the front-end logic bundling and storage, Redux and local storage together manage the authentication and UI state. Anxious handle the async data feature with logic grouped in thunks. YAP and Formic handle validation. We implemented pagination and error handling and consistent update flows across all modules. Next, Jesse will walk you through the rest.
Hello, let's jump into a live demo to show you how the system works in action. So here's the login page of our system. I'll just log in as Alice right now. So the default landing page is a dashboard. It's going to give you like a quick overview of the users and the courses and a few business statistics. So from the sidebar, we can navigate to different modules, including system management, course management, and exam management. And let's quickly go through each of them. Users, roles, menus, permissions, all of them are fully enabled with CRUD operations. And if there's the case like you registered the menu but haven't registered the route, it's gonna show a page not found. Okay, so for the menus, we have the tree structured presentation of the data records. And also we have the similar structure in the category management, but this time we choose a different strategy. So we have left side, have a tree structured presentation for the as a navigation entrance, and then you can navigate to the like the nested menus, sorry, the nested records from the sidebar. And also you can navigate to the previous layer by clicking the back. So let's try a few features. Let's try searching one of the chapter, say JavaScript. It's gonna instantly show on the screen which one, like the ones matching your searching queries. And now let's try add a new category here. So click here, a new category. Let's say testing category, description. This is new record and demo session. And for the parent category, you can choose it from the drop-down menu. Let's say UI UX and create it right now. So you can instantly show on the screen the one you added. And then we can try navigate to the profile. Let's say, so the user can only change their own profile regardless if they're like the admin or not. They can only edit their own profile. So let's change the avatar. Okay. Okay, I want my avatar to be Mario. Scale it. So, yeah. So you can see on the right top corner, it's my avatar is displayed as Mario right now. I'll leave a few more demonstration to later parts, and we'll show you some of the features and highlights we have went through. So before jumping into detailed feature explanation, I'd like to summarize a few common features among the modules. Each module displays key attributes like name, status, and description, and users can search using the keywords, and we reuse pop-up form to handle both creation and update actions. This consistency enhances usability and reduces the learning curve for new users. As you have seen in the demo, our dashboard offers an overview of total users, course counts, and their status, real-time learner activities, and enrollment statistics, all powered by asynchronous queries and dynamic rendering. We adopted stateless authentication using JWT, which is secure, scalable, and works well across domains. The flowchart shows how different parts of the system communicate and collaborate with each other to complete the user authentication and JWT generation process. So from the front end, user gonna submit the credentials, and the access gonna send the post request to the backend, and the backend will validate if the user is registered user. If it is, generate JWT, or otherwise throw the error and let the global error handler deal with this case. So it's gonna send the JWT in back to the front end in a unified return structure. And then if the front end receive the data saying the user has JWT, it will proceed to the next stage, storing the JWT in the local storage, and then rendering the front end. And next time when the user requests to access another page, it will just check the storage and say, hey, do we have the JWT here? If it is, it will just directly let the user see the page. So for the user module, we separated the core and non-core data into two tables with tailored permission assignment strategy. As I mentioned previously in the demo, the admin has full CRUD permission to the user, but they can only read the profile table. But for the user, their permission to the user table is dependent on the roles, but they can read, update, or delete their own profile. So we also have the multiple role assignments. So the admin can simultaneously complete user record and role binding in a single operation, which greatly improves the operational efficiency and UX. We also solved the tricky cross-domain avatar issue. So we setting up environment-specific course policies, configuring the static asset service with cache control, and allowing only get and options for avatar resourcing while maintaining the accessibility. This eliminates course origin resource sharing errors while ensuring the performance and security. The tree structure. Many and category modules uses unlimited depth tree structure, and only softened deletion is allowed for safety concerns. None of the non-leaf nodes can be removed directly, which supports better data hierarchy and visual clarity. For those two modules, we developed two different tree presentation methods. Menus use simple tree structure without pagination, while the category uses the tree structure sidebar for layered presentation and paginated table to display the details. We implemented several error prevention mechanisms to minimize the chance of unauthorized action and unnecessary API calls. As for the handling, errors are caught at the front end via formic and yup, where with express validator, service layer for caught errors for complex business checks, and also we have the global error handler catches all unhandled exceptions. Let's move to the permission control and dynamic rendering. So as you can see in this diagram, after the user logged in, the system gonna fetch all the permissions that the user currently acquired. And then we also fetch the menu route mapping, and then filter the menu by the permissions fetched previously. So with the filtered menus, we're gonna render the side menu bar and also generate the permitted routes. And we're gonna further filter the content with the permissions so that we can render the buttons and the related contents for the requested page. We have the button level control like in two categories. The first one is permission wrapping, which is realized by the button permission control component and also like a logic decision. And we also have the conditional components. So for example, the publish menu, this kind of option is only available when the menu status is dropped. And then you can see from here, the permission control granularity goes from course to find. And then we have the backend driven, so like fully configured stored in the database for the menu route mapping, and also realizing the dynamic routing. So for example, Alice as a domain as the admin has full access across all the modules. Bob as a teacher can manage courses but not the system, and Edward as observer has read-only permissions. So right now I'm logging in as Alice. Let's try logging as Edward. So as you can see from some of the pages, Edward has no access, the operational access to the system management module. So none of the add row or actions, these buttons will be displayed to Edward. It's similar in the course management because Edward is the observer, so he can only view all of these records, but can't actually modify them or add a new one. Okay, let's log into Alice again. User management here. So let's try edit one of the users. This time we're gonna edit Bob. So here's the multiple row assignment that I mentioned before. So user can have multiple rows. You can select from the drop down here, admin, teacher, observer. So as long as user has one of the row like requiring by the menu, he or she can access the corresponding page. And then I'll remove some of them. So teacher, save. Update successfully. Log out. Well, right now logging as Bob. So Bob is a teacher, which means he can have full CRUD permissions to the course management module. So you can see the edit, delete buttons are all available to him. But in terms of the system management, none of them will be displayed to Bob. If I log in as an admin and change, sorry, I change Bob's rows and assign admin to him. Save. Let's log in as Bob again. Yeah, so right now you can see the operations that only available to the admin is open to Bob as well. Let's go back to our presentation. I'm gonna wrap this demonstration by reflecting our journey. So we have do well, we have clear sprint goals to help team alignment, frequent communication to reduce misunderstanding, and also early user feedback to catch issues faster. However, we do have a few major problems. We were unclear about the initial requirements, which led to huge amount of rework. we underestimated the time for UI testing and also underestimated the complex of permission logic, which is really time consuming and took up most of our attention, so that we probably haven't implemented a few of our permission control strategies. So in the future, we're gonna add features like progress tracking, certificate issuing, bulk user import and export, improve performance with faster dashboard and mobile-friendly UI, and also refine onboarding and error messaging for better admin user experience. Thank you for your attention.